Hi everyone, my name is Phil and welcome to Phil Does 3D. I'm a multimedia and 3D artist and I stream on Twitch weekdays from 5 PM Pacific time in the United States, 10 AM in Australia and 1 AM in the UK. Okay, so we're working on an Art Deco building, interior and exterior. I'm creating it in the Unreal Engine 4.15.2. We're working on the environment at the moment in Unreal. I'm just going to grab a quick drink, guys. Give me a sec. Okay, so this is the actual building we're going to be working on. I haven't actually brought the building into Unreal yet. We've been working on the assets for it, the interior assets. We've brought most of them in. There's only a few left to bring in, but we're going to continue working in Unreal. Yesterday we were working on our environment here for the engine. I'm just keeping an eye on OBS here at making sure that my connection doesn't drop out like it did yesterday morning. Yesterday we were working on creating the forest on this side for our Art Deco building. We're going to continue doing that today. So we're going to continue our forest around back to the front again, back to the front driveway. We're using speed trees for the actual plants, so they're all animated in the wind. Sorry if I'm a bit distracted. Like I said, guys, I'm just watching OBS to make sure my connection stays stable. So yeah, yesterday we were creating our forest here on the, I guess what would you call it, the left-hand side if you're facing this way. We want to avoid putting any trees to covering up our actual sunrise, sunset, whatever we want to call it here in the background. So I'm not going to place any trees through this section. I'll continue the tree line from about here, I think. The reason being, like I said, I don't want to cover up that that nice golden sky. So I like the way it plays through the rocks here. And when we do our cinematic, our camera's going to be animated to be facing this direction as we come up our driveway before we turn to look at the Art Deco building, which I'm going to place in here. These assets are just temporary. I placed them in there while I was making them so that we could see, so that I could see that they were working or not, whether they were working or not. So all these things will be deleted and we're going to start rebuilding our building in here once we've finished foresting up the outside. So we're going to continue with our forest, I think, today. We shouldn't need to change any of our settings for our trees. It should all be remembered in our foliage editor here. All of our spacing and that type of thing. So let's pick up, actually, what I'm going to start by doing is turning off the exponential height fog, because while it makes a nice image here at the moment, it can be a bit difficult to work with. It can cover up and hide things that you want to see. So the easiest way to do that is to find it here in our list. That's exponential height fog, that's the one there. I'm just going to turn it off by clicking the eye icon. Okay. And I'm just going to pull into our forest here. This is the one we were working on yesterday, this part of it. It's going to actually come into the forest and I was just thinking this section through here could maybe use a dead tree, a fallen over dead tree. We'll come back to that. Let's continue painting our forest in though. Oh. So we have our rocks here. I'm going to leave this section just empty for the moment in through here, and we'll come back to it once we've forested up some more parts of the landscape. Now remember, when we were painting our landscape, we didn't paint all the way around. We only got to about halfway. So I'm just checking here to see how much of it we have painted up to. We've done that. We've done that. Most of it's okay. There are just a couple of sections through here I want to paint up with some rock texture before we actually start placing our trees. It's just easier for me to do it before I place all that tree line in. So we're going to jump into our landscape tool here and into the paint tool. And again, you can see I've set up a few layers, different texture layers for our landscape. So I'm just going to pull in and start painting in some rock textures. on these mounds here. I'm just going to pull back on my brush size as well a bit. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to undo that because I just want to pull back on the blending a little bit as well. That's better. I just want to make it, I don't want it to completely overpaint the previous texture. I want it to blend together a bit more evenly. So just by pulling back on my target value here, I get more of a blend happening between the rock and the dirt. Again, I'm just going to paint some rock textures in these grooves here. A lot of this will be covered up by the tree line, but just in case there are any areas amongst the trees that are open, we want to make sure that the texture that it shows looks correct. So it shouldn't take us too long. I'm just doing the rock texture here. The rest of the dirt texture should be okay. Like I was saying when I was doing the other side, when I paint these textures in, I like to get down to the level of the landscape. I don't like to come up here like this, because I like to be able to see the lay of the land while I paint the texture in. Just makes it easier for me to make sure I'm painting in the right type of texture. We're back to the flat section of the land. I've also got like a flat rock texture that I'm just going to place here and there on the top. And this is more of a solid stone as opposed to that broken stone. I'm just blending the two of them together, just to give it the appearance of more of a stony outcrop. Alright. I just want to get this done before we start placing that tree line. Let's go back to our broken stone.
Adventure tugging at my soul. Dreams and wonders fill my mind.
I'm just using my mouse here. I do have the Wacom tablet, but and it can come in really handy for areas like this. Just going to break that stone up a bit. But a lot of the time, if you don't have a Wacom tablet, you can use the mouse. It's not a problem. That's what I'm doing here. Again, I'm just going to break that up a bit with some plain stone. Going to throw a bit more dirt back there. Basically, well, I have two stone layers, two dirt layers. And then this texture that has like water through it. I don't know if you can see it just in the reflection there. So about 6 or 7 textures. I'm probably only using about 5 though. If they're in your layer stack and you don't use them, it's not going to cause any performance problems. If you're making a game though, don't go higher than probably 3 layers. But we're doing a cinematic, so I'm going to go a bit higher with 6 layers. Let's throw the broken stone through the gully. Again, I'm just going to top the sides of that gully off with a bit of the hard rock. And do the same through here. Do remember guys, if you have any questions or anything you're not sure about, please feel free to pop into chat and ask me. If I can help, I'm happy to try. I'm an arch-viz artist. I work in architectural visualization now, but I've worked in games development in the past. And I've also worked in cinema. So if you've got a question regarding anything, feel free to ask me. Like I said, I don't know everything, but if I can help, I'm quite happy to try. If you just want to watch, that's completely fine. If you just want to pop in and say hello and chat, then that's always welcome. Let's go back to our solid rock, I think. We're almost back around to the front again, I think. Yeah. And back to our broken rock. And basically I'm using the broken rock for the gully here because if water will have run down there, it will have broken the rock up. And I'm using the more solid rock for the sides of the gully. And the solid rock for the top of these mounds. I think this mound through the top here, this large one, we can throw a bit more of the solid rock in. And then get up a bit closer so we can see what we're doing. We still have to place boulders on this side as well. We placed boulders around here, but we haven't done any on this side. We're almost back around to the front again. And our camera's going to start around here. I'm going to place a large gate at the entrance to the drive with 2 hero trees either side. So we just want to make sure that this side here looks decent, because we're going to see it from our camera. A lot of the other parts of the terrain that I was just painting, it's going to be covered up like this side is with trees and with grass. But this side in particular, like I said, because it's going to be quite close to the camera, I do want to make sure that the texturing on it looks right. Again, the camera's not going to go back here, but just up this main mound I want to make sure it looks correct. Let's go back to some more of that solid broken rock. Alright, that should be good for what we want, I think. I'm just going to throw a bit more of the broken rock through here. Maybe just a bit through the base here. I'm going to pull up on my my target value as well, just to make it a little bit heavier. Okay, let's start painting in some more of our tree line. I'm just going to go out of landscape mode there for a minute. Again, I know it can be hard to see because there's an adjustment in Unreal to do with the lighting, so when you get into a darker area, the actual engine itself will lighten up. It should anyway. But you can actually turn that off, but I'm going to leave it on just at the moment while I'm painting in my forest. So, we have our forest line up here to our pond. We don't want to paint over our sunrise, sunset, whatever we want to call it. So we want to leave an open area between here and... I'm just checking how my camera is going to be panning. Camera's going to come up the drive to around about here before it turns to look at the Art Deco building, which will be sitting in here. And again, that's this Art Deco building we're going to be taking in from Max. So I want to keep it all open until around about these hills back here. So I'm going to start with the tree line again back in here. Looking, we should actually place some boulders. It might be a good idea if we do that first, I think. And the easiest way to do that is I'm only using 3 different, where are we? 3 different boulders. Now you can't see one that's hidden behind me, but only 3 different meshes, which is more than enough for what we need variety wise. you're never going to notice we're repeating the same boulder section because we're going to rotate it around, make it look a bit different. The boulders actually have moss growing on them, which is all controlled via a shader, so we can make it more or less moss depending on what we want. I'm just going to take this grouping of boulders here and duplicate it. Okay, let's move that back. All the way back. Too far back. Alright. So again, I'm going to go back to where my camera is sort of going to be down here. Okay, that should be good. I can frame in on that object, but we'll move the camera by hand here. I just want to move them down until they just start intersecting the terrain itself. Okay, that looks okay. I'm going to press the escape key to deselect them. Let's grab a couple of the boulder groups from up here. We're going to do the same thing, we're just going to right click and duplicate. And move that copy away. Alright, I like the look of the back of that boulder, which we never see from this angle, we see the front. So let's work with that back grouping. Let's place it maybe around here. But now I lost my way. I can't tell the difference between you, between me, and the search for an answer. I can't tell the truth, even though it takes courage to capture a dancer. The things I fear the most between you, between me, and the search for an answer. I may actually just rotate this one around a bit as well. Bring it down. I'm trying to avoid placing all the boulders all along the top ridge or all along the bottom. I want to sort of vary them up a bit. So this one's at the top of the ridge, this one's about halfway down the ridge. I think we need one more around here, and then we want a few up on the top here. So again, let's grab this grouping over here again. You see we've actually got a few, when we grab the boulder we also grab the ferns that are attached to it, so. Okay, let's duplicate again. We're going to move this one, I think we'll move it to around about, maybe back in here. Yeah, I think maybe back in here. I'm going to rotate that entire group as well, just to make sure that we don't notice that we're copying the same boulder group too much. In fact, I may rotate it all the way around. Let's just move it over and forward. More like that. Okay, so all we need now really is one more boulder section up here on the top. I really want to make more of a feature of that hill because we are going to see it from our camera here at the very beginning at the front. So something really interesting going on up here would look good. And I do like this grouping we've got going here with this boulder section. So we'll take that, I think. No, that's the landscape.
I wanna know you. Wanna feel how fast my heart would beat if you
Duplicate that one.
close to me. I wanna show you. Wanna let you loose inside my brain to see if you'd run or stay. I can't seem to look away. I'm hypnotized.
Now I'm going to scale this entire group up. Again, you see our moss is actually conforming to the size of the object because it's working. The shader I created for the moss works in world space, so it depends on what object it's sitting on and what the size of the object is as to how the moss grows on it. Let's rotate that around. And we're going to just drop it down into that hillside a bit more. Now I want something on this side. I'm going to grab this grouping we have at the front here. Again, just because it's a nice large group of rocks and I need something quite large to go on top of that hill. So we're going to duplicate it again.
Hypnotized. I'm hypnotized. I'm hypnotized. I'm hypnotized.
I'm also going to scale that grouping up. I'm just looking for an interesting sort of grouping angle to place these in. We might go in and actually move them individually now. I'll deselect that lot. Okay. I'm just going to come to the front here, more to where our camera is going to be. And again, I know I need something a bit more just through here. So I'm going to, again, grab just a few of these rocks, but not take them in the same grouping this time. So I'm going to take one from that group, one from here. We'll take those two, I think, so we'll duplicate them again. Rotate them around. And again, I'm just going to move my camera down to the base here where the actual start of the cinematic will be. And I think we may need just one more sort of through here. So, because this is the closest, I'm going to grab one of these. You're my star tonight. Oh, yeah, you're like. Let's rotate it around so it looks a bit different. And just sink it down into the landscape a bit. Okay, so even though we've used the same rocks, like all we've done is duplicate groups of rocks and move them around, because we rotated a few of them and we put them in different bunches, you're never going to notice that they're all pretty much the same rocks. There's only 3 different types of rock meshes. I think that's probably enough for our rocks for the top of the hill. Just going to check it from this side now. We could do with maybe one more just on this side of this mound. We'll do the same thing again. I'm just going to grab one from here. And we'll pull it over, pull it forward. Rotate it around. And I'll pull it forward just a little bit more. That should be good. So again, we've moved our rocks into position. We've painted up our rock textures on some of these gullies and grooves. Now we can start placing the rest of our tree line. So, and again, we decided we were going to start the tree line from the rocks are thrown or from about where this rock grouping is here, because again, I want to keep all of this section through here open so we can see that nice golden sky. So let's move back to our rocks back here. Just going to move up a little bit so I can look down on the landscape and jump into my foliage tool. We've got our plants already set up from when we did the opposite side. So we're going to continue on from there. So I'm going to select the green trees first. I have 3 different versions of the green tree that we're using. I'm just going to make sure that none of the others are checked, because otherwise it will paint everything that's checked. So we've only got our 3 green trees selected. We do have 3 dead trees as well, but I'm going to paint them in separately. Again, with Unreal, I could check all of these 3 dead trees at the same time and it would paint a mixture for me. But I like to have a bit more control, so I only select the 3 objects, the green trees that I want to paint in. I'll do the others separately, the dead trees. Okay, so I'm just going to increase my brush size a bit. And we're going to pick up our tree line from around about here. Again, I'm just pulling up and looking down on the landscape to get a better idea of what's going on. And I'm just looking at our, they're way too thick, that's too many. the spacing has changed. The density has changed. It looks like I pulled it up too high. I don't know. I must have done that when I was doing some painting on the landscape. So I'm going to keep undoing this. I could delete them. Just hitting the undo though is easier. Alright. So we just got to make sure that our density isn't too high on these. The density down here per object is fine. It's the one up here at the main density that's the problem. So I'm going to pull back on my paint density. Paint a section in and check it. It's looking a bit better. Let's just double check it with the one we've already done on this side so we can make sure we are getting a similar look. Yeah, no, that'll be okay. Alright, let's go back here. I'm going to bring these tree lines down to this ridge that we see running through here, which is the ridge line between the flat part of the ground and the start of the terrain. So we're going to paint our trees down through here. I'm leaving a few sections open to make it look a bit more natural. You don't want to be painting trees completely over the whole of the hillside. So I'm just leaving a few of these gaps between the trees. We are going to place dead trees in here as well, so we have to leave some room for them. And important to remember, I have a line to normal turned off on my trees. That's so that they stay straight up when I paint them. If I had this aligned to normal ticked here, when we paint on a hill that's angled like that, the tree is going to paint on an angle like that. It's going to grow out sideways. And for trees, we don't want that. For grass and things we do, but not for trees. Now I'm just going to undo that quickly because I don't want to hide too many. I want to make more of a feature of these rocks, so I don't want trees really in front of it. We can place some to the side of it though. And then back through here. I won't go any further back though, the camera's never going to go back that far. But I will place a couple just in here. Alright, so we have our green trees, now we've got to place some of the dead trees. So let's just get up above our landscape here. Now I'm going to deselect the green ones and select the dead ones. And I'm just clicking here and there with the dead trees to place a few of them. We don't want as many dead as we do green. Okay, let's just get out of paint mode for a moment so I don't accidentally paint trees everywhere, and just get down to camera level, ground level, and check that tree line.